Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name's Farah Halaby and I'm a professional Muslimah life coach, and I've not been live in my group for a little while, so I thought I'd pop on today and ask you a question. Are you a people pleaser? Do you find yourself turning yourself inside out, trying to do everything you can, or actually not doing a lot of things in order to please others? Do you find that you constrict, or you trap's not the word I'm looking for, I'm having a bit of a mental fog today, but that you deprive yourself of doing the things that you want to do, saying the things you want to do, saying the things that you want to say, even eating the things you want to eat, doing the stuff that you, living the life that you really want to be living. Do you find yourself restricting yourself, depriving yourself, and really doing everything that you can in order to make other people happy, in order to make everyone else feel a-okay? And if that's you, how's it working out? Because for a lot of the lovely women that I work with, a lot of the Muslim professional women that I work with, they may not realise it at the time, but people pleasing becomes almost the way in which they live their life. And it's such a common thing, especially if you're a mum, especially if you are, if you're someone who works, if you are someone who has a family or has a business or has a community to serve. It's such an innocent thing. It's so easy to just think, okay, if everyone else is all right, then I'll be okay. As long as, as long as the kids are happy, as long as my husband's okay, as long as my home's running efficiently, as long as my parents are all right, as long as, my colleagues at work, as long as my business is doing okay, then I'll be all right. And we're very much giving our sense of well-being, our sense of contentment, our sense of how we want to live our lives, we're giving that power over to anomalies that have no control. How do we make sure that our husband is happy enough, that our children are happy enough, that our community, our parents, our family are feeling just so, in order to make us feel happy, in order, for us. Assalamu alaikum, Sarah. Absolutely, we have to look after ourselves, because there is, and I know it sounds a bit like a cliche, but if you don't fill your cup, then what have you got to pour to everyone else? And today, I found that to be quite true. I'm at my brother's house today, and alhamdulillah, I've got my nieces and my nephews all running around. They've got water guns out, so that's carnage. So I've come to a nice little spot in the garden where there is no water, there are no children running around, and I'm filling my cup. I'm just enjoying the sunshine, subhanallah, letting the kids roam wild. But before, maybe about 8-9 years ago, I would be there hovering over the kids, making sure that every whim, every need, every possible eventuality I was prepared for. I was like the SAS of mumming. I was there with my backpack filled with goodies, filled with, every possible contingency plan, plasters, spare clothes, lots of bits and pieces, and spare clothes now, thank you, that I wish I'd brought, because my 2 middle children are absolutely soaked. But before, I would have been freaking out. I would have been going, oh my goodness, I've got no spare clothes for them, or, they can catch colds. But today, as I sit here in this glorious garden, I'm just thinking, do you know what, they'll be fine. But I have been at a place, and I know a lot of women who have been at a place where they can't relax. They just can't be themselves. They just can't sit and enjoy the moment because they're so worried or preoccupied about everyone else being okay. So if you are that type of person, if you are someone who would consider themselves a people pleaser, how's that working out for you? How does pleasing others in turn, if you're pleasing others, who's pleasing you? Is that a question you've even asked yourself? How do you fill your cup? How do you look after yourself? How do you do what you want to do? And there is this very common misconception that we have to be this martyr. We have to be completely selfless. We have to we have to expend every ounce of energy on others in order for us to be doing it right, whatever it is. But where does that leave us? Where does that leave you? in the grand scheme of things, if you are filling your cup, if you are doing you, and it might sound again like a bit of a cliche, but when was the last time you did something purely for yourself that, you know, and the world didn't stop? The world did not stop. Like now, at the minute, the kids are soaked, but they're fine. They're absolutely fine. Just trying to sort of like stay away from it there, but they're fine. I've had it before where, you know, I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't leave the children. I couldn't dare go and, I don't know, meet a friend for coffee. I couldn't, couldn't do anything that didn't involve putting my family at the forefront of the decisions that I make. And now the decisions that I make suit me, and my family don't suffer for it. They actually benefit from it because they have a mother, a wife, a family member, a community person who has more energy, more focus, more determination, more motivation to help them through their tough times, to help them through their struggles, but also to appreciate the wonderfulness of just being. So I'll ask you again, are you a people pleaser? And how's it working out for you? And if you'd like not to be a people pleaser, doesn't mean that you won't be pleasing people, doesn't mean that you're going to be neglecting anyone, not at all. But when you fill your cup first, you are going to be so filled with that energy, motivation, all that great stuff. And that's what you've got to pour. That's what you've got to give to others. So it's never selfish. It is really helping you be the optimal version of yourself so you can do those roles that you hold dear. You can parent your children, you can be that wife that you want to be, you can be that person in your profession, in your family, in your community. It really starts from you appreciating, loving, nurturing, looking after yourself. Because at the end of the day, when we go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's going to ask us, what are you going to do with the gifts I gave you? What are you going to do? You know, what did we do? So not what are you going to do? What did you do with the gifts that He gave us? With this body, with time, with our energy? Running around after my kids is probably not going to be up there on the top things that I'm most proud of. If anything, it's an amana, it's a responsibility that I have to myself. And like I say, when you look after yourself and you take accountability, responsibility, and actual pleasure in looking after yourself, everyone else benefits. So if you'd like to learn more about that, let's have a conversation. This is what I do with my clients. I help them and I take them through a process where they understand exactly what is going on for them, iron out those kinks, get rid of a couple of erroneous beliefs that might have been knocking around for a long while, and then from that place of clarity, plan and put together a framework where you can create how you want to be. Because for a long time, like for a lot of people, and if you've heard any of my talks before, I'm very used to, you know, women telling me all day long what they don't want, how they don't want their lives to be. But when you flip that question, ask what they do want, that's the harder question. So if that's something that you would like, a space, a confidential, safe, non-judgmental space to really create, then drop me an email for my next available slot. I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to go and quite politely just walk past the carnage. I'm going to get myself a nice cup of tea. But as always, I pray that you are safe, well and healthy and happy as well. And I shall see you again in a little while. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.